One of the most important concepts in Tai Chi is sinking, but this is often confused with lowering the posture. And if the difference between those two isn't something that's clear for you, then this video is really going to help you out. I'm Grant Kleiman from Darsana Martial Arts. Welcome to the channel. My goal here is to help you learn Tai Chi with depth and clarity. If that interests you, consider subscribing to the channel. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support us or connect with us, there are links in the description. All right, let's get started with the lesson. When we first start learning Tai Chi, we don't have a reference for internal movement. So usually when we're told to sink, our tendency is to just get our center of gravity lower to the ground. It will make you feel more rooted into the earth. But this is really just about having a bit more of a stable base. People will want to get into wider stances because this further stabilizes the base. None of that has anything to do with sinking. Sinking happens when we learn to song, when we learn to release or ungrip the body. So we remove as much tension in the muscles as we can so that they sort of fall away from the bones. And we also want it to ungrip the inner mass of the body. Think about the inner torso as being sort of like a water balloon. If you imagine the tension in your body being like squeezing a water balloon so that at least a large portion of the water was pushed up towards the top and wasn't able to drop down, even if I were to lower the water balloon down, right? Even if I were to lower my body towards the ground so that the mass of the water balloon is lower towards the ground, I haven't actually sunk because all of the water is still up top. Even if we're in a low posture and the legs are well aligned, if we receive force in the upper body and we have tension that's holding up sort of the internal mass of the body, that force is still going to be affecting us, and we're going to find that we have to fight that by pushing back with tension. We have to push back with the leg. We're going to brace even harder, and the feeling is that we really only have two choices: to overcome that force with our own force or to try to move away and abandon our position. Sinking releases the grip on the water balloon. It doesn't drop it. It's not becoming limp and slumped, which is another common misunderstanding, but it lightens the grip quite a lot. And what happens when you open up that grip is that the water in the water balloon can drop down towards the bottom. And so just like that, when we release the tension, the weight settles down. The mass can sort of pull downward through the legs, transfer down through the feet and into the floor. And this is where a lot of the transformation happens. This is one of the reasons that we stand in Wuji, so that the body can allow gravity to pull on the soft tissue, which pulls around and down through the frame of the body, through the skeletal frame, which doesn't move. If it moves at the same sort of pace and follows that pull on the mass, what happens is the mass doesn't learn to release and stretch down. We don't learn how to conduct the pressure of gravity's pull on our tissues down to the ground. So actually, if you lower down while you're trying to sink, you're kind of working at cross purposes with your sinking. It's about opening up the internal space of the body, opening up the space between the muscles and the bones, opening up the space in the joints and conducting the force of gravity's pull on your body to the ground. Then, even if we're in a relatively high stance, if pressure was brought in towards our upper body, somebody's pushing on us, for example, but we understand how to sink, that force gets sort of redirected through the conduit of our body towards the earth. So it's not just about getting your center of gravity lower than the other person's, getting sort of your structure underneath them. It's about sinking down with force. Tai Chi is all about pressure and force and how we release it through the body and how we direct it and mobilize it in the body. So hopefully this helps you to understand the difference between sinking and lowering.